Welcome back to Building Dad Bod 2.0. My wife thinks I'm crazy when I walk through the grocery store with my weighted vest on. Wait till they see me walking through the grocery store with my new neck harness builder, my neck building harness on. Just walking through, carrying my groceries, getting some neck work in. Heck yeah. Alright, so I promised Spencer I would do a background sort of history of my back injury, what led to me getting my L4 through S1 fused. Just started chatting with Spencer on my channel. Turns out he is an absolute animal when it comes to working out and a wonderful person to talk about working out with. Lots of knowledge and experience and just all around real good guy. So while I'm talking about my back, I'm just going to be doing a shoulder rehab workout in the background here. Then I'm going to hit some back and a little bit of grip and forearm work. Didn't want to just sit here staring at a camera talking. Just kind of make the video the same length as it takes to explain this. Sorry if I ramble a little bit and not writing anything down. So when I was 16 years old playing football, Canadian football, it's a savage game. Makes American football look like a sissy sport. I'm joking, of course. We don't even play Canadian football in Canada, other than in the CFL. When we grew up playing football, we play NFL. So playing football, played linebacker and fullback. Moved up a league and was playing defensive end and kickoff returns. So one game, pooch kick, caught it, running downfield. Someone came in, hit me in the hip on one side. Another guy at the same time hit me in the shoulder on the other side and kind of bent me like a bit of a pretzel. Felt something pop in my back. Ended up herniating a disc. Couldn't sit at that point. About 6 weeks I couldn't sit. Had a ton of nerve pain in my right leg. I missed a bunch of school that year. Eventually, nerve pain went away. Back was never the same after that, but for the most part, in my late teens, early 20s, I was able to work out. Went to the gym, was doing legs, I could hip hinge at that point. I didn't know really even what a deadlift was back then, but never really had too much problems doing everyday stuff. Just about once or twice a year, I would get insane back spasms. Just shut me down for about a week. And then it would just kind of slowly ease up as the week went on. But my lower back would just clamp down, make it hard to move. Be really painful, but it kind of became normal to have that once or twice a year. Worked out all through my 20s. In my 30s, I was an automotive tech. Started my apprenticeship when I was 19. Did that, was able to do that. Same thing, once or twice a year, my back would spasm like crazy. I'd work through it as much as possible. I'd have to miss a day or two here and there just because I couldn't move. But overall, kind of just like a lot of people, thought, yeah, just, have a bad back and work through it the best I can. 30s, changed careers, started a job doing in communications, basically installing and repairing phone lines, fiber optic lines. So climbing poles outside, working on the lines outside, plus doing the installation stuff inside. So I started a temporary position and then had to work up. It was a 9-month probation before I could get a permanent position. At the same time, I started playing beer league, like co-ed baseball with my wife. One game, I was running to catch a fly ball and stepped in a sprinkler head. Felt my disc pop again. Hit the ground, couldn't get up. My brother-in-law, who was about 300 pounds at the time, came over, scooped me up like a child, and carried me off the field. That was on Sunday. Monday morning, phoned my manager, said, hey, I don't think I'm going to be able to come in today. I can't move. Back just spasming like crazy. Nerve pain down my leg. He said, well, If you don't come in, chances are you're not going to get a permanent position, so choice is up to you. So, dragged myself out of bed. Wife dressed me because I couldn't bend. Got to work. Could barely get out of my vehicle. Like once you sit down, and muscles are just spasming so hard. It's a nightmare to get them all straightened out again to stand up. But managed to get myself up. Got my day done. All week was like this. Just popping painkillers and anti-inflammatories. Trying to keep moving. Thing was with that and throughout my back sort of injuries was what I found was once you start moving, you just can't stop moving again. The moment you sit or lay down, you're stuck in that position, and it's just an absolute nightmare to get moving again. But we'll talk more about that later. So made it through the day, made it through the week. Like always, eventually the back started to feel as normal as what I thought normal was at that point. And one day I was helping my buddy. He wanted me to help him put some fence posts in. So this was about a year later. He rented an auger. We were augering in some fence posts. We hit a rock. Auger just bound up. So we went to kind of twist it and lift it up at the same time. And again, boom, felt something pop in my back. And I kind of just stood there for a second waiting for it to spasm, and nothing really happened. I just felt a massive pop in my back. So carried on. Doing fence posts. Woke up the next morning and it felt like a jackhammer was going off in my right, from my lower back down my right leg into my right foot. Just absolutely insane nerve pain. So got in to see my doctor. They did some scans, saw that I ruptured my L5. So they booked me to see a surgeon. And then in the meantime, they also booked me to see a pain doctor. So it takes 5 months to get in to see the surgeon. And in between, it took me about 4 months to see the pain specialist. So in that time, the pain never let up. Felt the whole time like just the worst nerve pain I've ever had in my life, like a jackhammer going off. I couldn't sleep. I slept about an hour a night for 4 months straight. It was awful. Words can't describe how bad the nerve pain was. Just an aside, later on when I tore my supraspinatus, this was about 8 months before I had back surgery. When I tore my supraspinatus, I had nerve pain going down my arm through my thumb. At that time, they prescribed me a drug called gabapentin, a nerve blocker. Worked wonders with nerve pain. With my back, they did not. They prescribed me just heavy-duty painkillers and anti-inflammatories. I took those for a while and realized soon that they don't do crap for nerve pain. So I just stopped taking everything and just was in insane pain. My brother ended up blowing up a disc a few years after, and they got him on gabapentin right away. He only had to wait a couple weeks. They rushed him in for back surgery. And he was like, I don't know how you survived 4 months in that amount of pain. He's like, I don't think I could have lasted more than 2 days. So it was bad. Like, I'm not exaggerating when I say I was only sleeping an hour a night. Usually what I would do is just out of sheer exhaustion, I would go to bed at about midnight, sleep till 1, and then I would just get up and do laps in my house. At this point, it was just the nerve pain. My back didn't spasm, so I could still do everything. It just was in insane pain all the time. A lot of times I would just wake up my wife at like 2 in the morning and say, hey, I'm walking downtown. Pick me up in the morning so that I can get ready for work. And that was my life for 4 months. I ended up getting pneumonia because I couldn't sleep. Still went to work every day. Even with pneumonia, finally my manager told me I had to go home for until I was feeling better. But got the antibiotics and all that stuff. But I would go like climbing a telephone pole. I'd go up about 3 steps. I'd be out of breath. Have to catch my breath, go up another few steps. I couldn't really feel my right foot other than the nerve pain. So it was winter time. I had these big rubber boots. I got a bunch of holes in my left boot because I kept sticking my spur through it. I missed the pole and hit my left foot with it. Thankfully, they were big boots, so I never ended up doing too much damage to my foot or my leg on the other side. It was bad. The only reason I really could tell where my foot was at all was just from the nerve pain going through it. 4 months like that, went in to see the pain specialist. He took an ultrasound and he said, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this big long needle. We're going to go up through there's a hole in your tailbone. We're going to go up through the hole in your tailbone and we're going to pump a bunch of cortisone up into the cavity where all the nerve endings for your spine are. So they take an ultrasound so we can see what he's doing. Jammed a needle up and then he's basically telling me like, just so you know, this is going to hurt like crazy. Anytime you need a reprieve, just let me know and I will stop. I was in so much pain. I was like, yeah, whatever. Just do what you got to do. That pain was very intense. It's amazing. So when he pushes the cortisone in, that cortisone is going in and hitting the nerves. It felt like my tailbone, that cavity in there, it felt like my tailbone was going to crack in half. Just like it was pressuring up and gonna just explode. So I had to get him to stop a couple of times, take a deep breath, and then be like, okay, hit her again. Within minutes, the pain was less. By the next morning, no nerve pain in my foot at all. Feeling didn't come back right away. Took quite a while for the feeling to come back, but I was just really happy not to be in insane nerve pain anymore. So it was only about a month later, went to see the surgeon. Went in, first thing he said to me was, you're a 37-year-old man with the back of an 80-year-old. Said it was just a mess in there, but because the pain specialist had shot the cortisone up in there and I didn't have the insane nerve pain anymore, he said he refused to do surgery on me. He said I was too young for surgery, just to do my best to rehab it. So I was a little emotional, but at the same time, I was happy to try to rehab. Obviously, I didn't want to get surgery if I didn't need it. I've been working out my whole life, knowing that I had a bad back, trying to get as strong as possible. So that was that. No surgery at that point. Went on with life. The next spring, went to play baseball again. This time, ground ball, hit to center field, running, went kind of like hinged forward to pick it up while running. Boom. Back spasm like crazy. Felt a pop. Hit the ground. L4 blew up this time. So this time lost a bunch of feeling in my left foot. Nerve pain down my left side. But once the back spasms went away, I still had nerve pain, but it wasn't the same like insane nerve pain as it was the first time. I used to be in a lot of pain with my back, so I just was like, okay, this is life. Deal with it. So went about life, still working out, stopped playing ball. But then what started happening didn't happen right away, but probably a month later was sat down in my chair to eat breakfast, eat my bowl of yogurt, went to stand up, and I get like an electrical shock down my left leg. When that happened, I would lose control of my legs, just like they were temporarily paralyzed. Hit the ground, and then just insane back spasms again. So happened there. Happened again another month later. So every time this happened now, I had an in with like I'd already been referred to the pain specialist. So he'd get me in. And this time he would shoot cortisone injections into where the nerves are on my facet joints. So that winter ended up happening to me 6 times, 6 cortisone injections in my back. Every time it happened would be just a slight hip hinge forward, get that big jolt, lose control of my legs, hit the ground. So this went on for a couple years till one day my wife and I we took my niece out. She was just a baby. We took her out for lunch, had lunch. My wife said, why don't you grab our niece, go pay the bill. So I picked her up out of the high chair, and I just about had her up out of the high chair, and it happened. Boom, jolt, I dropped my niece. Thank God she landed in the chair. Scared the crap out of me. If I would have been holding on to her and I had her out of the chair, I would have landed on her. Who knows, like might have killed her, I don't know. But when it happened, I just instantly, like, it lose control. Nothing I can do. My back spasms. I can't feel my legs for a second. So thank goodness she just fell back into the chair. I hit the floor. Struggled to drag myself up and uh, out of the restaurant. Scared the crap out of me. And then I started thinking like that could have ended really, really badly. And then it also kind of, I never really thought about my own safety before, but like I'm climbing 32-foot ladders on a daily basis, climbing poles with spurs as well. And I'm thinking like, man, if I, like, you can't harness in on a ladder until you're up to the top. You can harness in on the messenger. So I'm thinking, man, like if I'm leaning over to harness up, that happens before I'm hooked up with my fall arrest. Like when I lose control that fast, I'm going to be falling 32 feet, landed on the ground, and either be paralyzed or dead. And at this point, the nerves were getting pinched off so bad when I'd have an episode, I wouldn't be able to move. Just be completely useless until I could get in and get a cortisone shot. So I just couldn't fight through the pain on these ones. It was too much. Thankfully, the pain doctor was awesome. Would get me in, rush me in to get cortisone shots. So at this point, managed to get back in to see the surgeon again. I thought he was going to just say no, but got me to go get another MRI done. When he saw it, phoned me back and was like, man, we got to get you in for surgery. There's basically nothing left down in your lower back. Told me that it was up to me, but he said it's a dangerous surgery in terms of like there's a lot going on down there. I had to grind out around the nerves on my facet joints, remove what was left of my L4, L5, and then they put synthetic discs in, and then they ground out like some bone from my vertebrae, laid steel rods in there, and then packed that bone back in to fuse it so the bone would grow over the steel rods in my back. So 2020 went in right at the end of 2020, got the surgery done. Haven't had any back spasms since. Had some new nerve pain after the surgery, just from everything that had to happen in there. Took about 18 months for that to go away. And about the same, took about 18 months to get full feeling back in my left foot. But overall was much better. Probably 2 years, I would say, to fully heal from the surgery and all the nerve damage and everything that happened there. But I was allowed to start working out 6 weeks after surgery, lightly. Went to physio, got all the exercises, started rehabbing, was back in the gym as soon as possible. They actually had me walking the day after surgery. Got home, walked as much as I could tolerate without a walker, and then walked with the walker. When my brother had back surgery, he was walking too. And then he went back in for his checkup, and they said, whoa, like, what are you doing? You can't be walking that much. Like, you can only walk for like 10 minutes a day. He had a less major surgery than I did, and his recovery went way worse because of the fact that he didn't move nearly as much as I did. So my advice, if you have back surgery, walk as much as you can tolerate. Obviously, listen to your doctor, but they told me no damage is going to be done from walking. It's just going to hurt. So I walked for hours a day, off and on, as much as I could. And I feel like it really sped up my recovery. Spent the first 3 years after surgery building up my posterior chain and my core without excessively loading my spine. Then finally, just this past year, I've started really loading my spine, pushing up the squats and the deadlifts. Now that I can load my spine like a normal person, my lower body's the strongest it's been in my life. Managed to hit a 350-pound squat this year, 421-pound deadlift last year. I'm looking to get stronger and hitting 1,100-pound total this spring. That's it. Thanks for watching.